this is in regards to all the news in regards to Ezra Miller and their involvement with the Flash movie coming out next year. It is absolutely insane to me how this story's been going. For those that aren't aware, the Flash is one of the most famous comic book characters of all time. Outside of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, the Flash is arguably the fourth most iconic hero that DC has ever made. Been around since the 40s, and everyone knows who he is. He's the superhero that goes fast. Simple enough. And they've been trying to make a movie based on this character since the 80s. And years have gone by, no progression, and here we are. The Flash movie is supposed to be coming out next year. And it's supposed to be essentially a restart of the DC Comics extended universe, where like their version of the MCU, their version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where they've tried to finagle their way with Man of Steel and Batman v Superman and the issues with Justice League and everything else. It hasn't been working out. And while they do have some decent projects that go on, like Shazam and Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and the Suicide Squad, a lot of their DCEU stuff has been pretty hit or miss. Like their best, most received DC projects have actually come outside the DCU, with the Batman that just came out and the Joker that came out a couple years ago and won a couple Oscars. And now they're moving forward with Joker 2 and the Batman 2 and other spin-offs of the Batman on HBO Max. And with the DCU, they're still doing some things, like they have the Peacemaker show on HBO Max. That's a great show. And they're still doing other projects with the Black Adam movie and Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 next March. But they want to retool and essentially softly reboot the DCU with the Flash movie, where the Flash is going to go through different universes and whatnot and have a new continuity with Michael Keaton as Batman from the old movies instead of Ben Affleck. And it's just absolutely insane, everything that's been going on with Ezra Miller, because DC has had a lot of issues. Hey, Dave, thanks. Thanks for the $5. I really appreciate it. It's Amber Heard. You had one issue. She plays Mare in Aquaman. She's the love interest of Aquaman. She's his significant other. And Amber Heard, she lost the case against Johnny Depp, and there's been a big pushing movement. Millions of people have signed up to get rid of Amber Heard and replace her with a different actress to play Mara. And that might be happening, but not entirely sure yet. But Ezra Miller, you wanted trouble, here's double. It's one thing when it's a side character that has their own issues that are going on that are affecting the way people are perceiving the movie. But when it's the main character, when you have Ezra Miller, the man who is going to be playing the Flash, the one who's playing the Flash, Barry Allen, and he's going through so many and they're going through so many legal issues with arrests and whatnot, that paints a very, very bad light on your movie if you're Warner Brothers. And for WB, a company that was recently sold off by AT&T, and Discovery bought them up along with their other assets like CNN and HBO and whatnot, David Zaslav has a huge crisis on his hand for this movie, a movie that Warner Brothers has spent over $250 million. It's one of the most expensive movies they've ever made. So how are they going to go about this? They're really in a bind right now, because they could. Now, they did say that Ezra Miller will not be part of the DCU going forward after the Flash movie. Okay, fine. We'll get someone else like Dylan O'Brien or Lucas Till or someone to fill the role. It's fine. It's a fictional character. They can be replaced. But what are you going to be doing about the Flash movie? He's the main character. Before you even started filming, this Ezra Miller choked a girl outside a bar in Reykjavik, Iceland, and she seemingly unconscious. And they didn't do anything about it. They let Ezra Miller get away. On top of that, when filming Fantastic Beasts 3, they had no business firing Johnny Depp after like a day or two with just the allegations with Amber Heard. But meanwhile, Ezra Miller had far more accusations against him, but he was kept on. Sorry, they were kept on. And I understand. There's a lot of theories going on about this. Why does Ezra Miller seem untouchable? There's a few reasons. I can think of 200 million reasons why, and that's because they've already filmed the Flash, and with their scenes in it, they play several different, they like 2 or 3 different versions of the Flash. So if they're gonna do this again, they're gonna have to rewrite the whole movie, and they're gonna have to reshoot the whole movie and find a way where instead of Ezra Miller, it's like a different actor playing the Flash in the end. But because they already shot the movie and everything, and it's all ready to go, just sitting on the shelf until it comes out next year, what are they gonna do now? Honestly, I don't know, because the situation keeps getting worse and worse as the days, weeks, and months have gone on. When he was in Hawaii, he was at a karaoke bar. He beat up and threw a chair at a woman, and she had a massive half-inch cut across her forehead. And then he threatened to murder this couple and stole their belongings, like their passport, their social security, their credit card, everything else. And he was arrested there, driving under their influence, and accusations of grooming now young children, like 12-year-old girl, like Dakota Iron Eyes, I think her name is. And he had a relationship with her, grooming her for months, giving her bruises and whatnot. And it's absolutely insane. Now, I know I've been saying he a lot. I'm aware that Ezra Miller he considers himself to be non-binary. He goes by they, them pronouns. And I apologize for that. They, them. I'm trying to do the best I possibly can. But at the same time, they don't even see themselves as a person, really. They don't even see themselves as a person. Arguably an alien they see themselves as. And I don't want the non-binary part of them to be a crutch in both ways. I don't want people to use this as an attack against non-binary LGBT people to say, see, this is how they're like. They're all crazy. They're insane. I'm not about that. That's bigoted, and I do not accept that one bit. On the other hand, I also don't think we should use the fact that he is non-binary as a crutch as to why we can't criticize him. Because there's lots of non-binary people in the world. There are. There's lots of LGBT people, but they aren't grooming others. They are not grooming people. They're not kidnapping others. They're not posting cryptic text messages. They're not beating people up. They're not being charged for assault. They're not doing that. They are not doing that. They're not engaging in cult-like behaviors. They're not. What is this, Heaven's Gate? And it's weird that all the girls that they're meeting are ending up non-binary. And isn't that kind of odd? Is he recruiting them? What's going on with them? I'm not asking because I'm genuinely curious. What is going on with Ezra Miller? What's going on with this individual? And David Zaslav, he did make the right call. Ezra Miller, gone after this movie. But this is what I think they should do with The Flash. I think this movie they need to put a write-down on, first and foremost, because they're going to charge a lot of money for marketing. And how are you going to market your Flash movie when the star of this such movie is under heavy allegations and arrests and everything else? How can you promote a movie when your star is engaged in all this activity? The short answer is you can't. What are you going to do? Keep him in costume the whole time? Another theory I've seen is like maybe retool the movie, cut it down by a lot, and focus on scenes with Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck and make it like a Batman Flashpoint type movie. I mean, you could do that, but at the same time, you'd still need to market the Flash in your movie, especially if the Flash is a big part of why these two Batmen are here. Unbelievable. And I'm not going to blame David Zaslav. Actually, I could blame a little bit because he probably should have said something sooner. And it's not even from Warner Brothers themselves. It's from a Deadline article that's reporting on the situation. Warner Brothers has not made a public statement on this. And they really should. Because Ezra Miller just, after the accusation, he posted on Instagram, "You can't catch me. I'm in a different universe." What are you doing? Are you method acting? Are you pretending to be the Flash? And they deleted their social media accounts. What's going on? Seriously. As a comic book movie fan, as a fan of DC Comics, I am genuinely concerned about the future of the universe, but I'm also concerned about what's going on with these kids. These 11, 12-year-olds that he has known and he's allegedly groomed. This is scary stuff, and I just can't keep my eyes off this because I've been in the headlines. Amber Heard is one thing. You can find a way to get that out, but Ezra Miller, that's going to be extremely, extremely tough for you as a studio. As just the following week afterwards, Disney's going to release Indiana Jones 5. And I don't think The Flash, with all the controversies going on, is going to be able to survive that. So, in my opinion, they could cancel the movie, but that would cost them even more money. So I don't even think they're going to do that. I think what they probably do, probably cut down the movie a little bit and... Oh, yeah. I do think he is full of himself. I do think a lot of the egos are cutting cut off to him. I think he feels untouchable because of all the stuff going on. The fact that Warner Bros. Has been fine with him being a people in Iceland and Hawaii and whatnot. And on his Wikipedia page, it's an entire section dedicated to just incidents in Hawaii. And speaking of incidents with girls, there was this 11-year-old, it's 12-year-old in Massachusetts, I think. And he was wearing a bulletproof vest, and he threatened to shoot, the kid's mother. Like, what are you doing? Like, I understand I'm going to say allegedly, but with everything going on, this lines up pretty much on point. The guy is not, you're right. I do agree. He is not a person. He is a monster. He is a menace to society, and I do not say that lightly. He should not be involved with this movie. He should not be involved with movies, period, after this. No one should want to hire him again. Warner Brothers, Sony Pictures, Paramount, Disney, doesn't matter. No one should hire him after this. He needs to get help, and Warner Brothers, as responsible for being complicit with these allegations, needs to also step in and try to help him out the best way that they can. Because if not, more people are going to get hurt. And honestly, some people are thinking that with all he's talking about guns and everything, some are worried that someone could end up killed with how he's acting. Some are thinking that potentially Ezra Miller could potentially kill himself. And I don't say that lightly. I really do not want to say that lightly, because people are really thinking that could be the case based on how crazy he's been giving out ketamine and LSD to minors, and now his life is falling apart. So many people are genuinely worried for the well-being of them, as well as the well-being of the kids he allegedly is groomed. They've allegedly groomed. And, being arrested. If you were Warner Brothers, how could you support that? Yeah, you're right, Dave. They're thinking about money first. And financially, from a business perspective, you cannot afford to have this guy being the face of your movie, being the one who's going to be in charge of rewriting and retooling and basically rebooting your universe. You can't do that. But they have Ezra Miller in charge of that because he's the Flash, and the Flash is supposed to be retconning certain things and whatnot. And I hear the movie, based on test screenings, is actually really good. I hear it's actually one of DC's best movies. DCU in particular, not in terms of all of DC's movies. But good or bad, who's going to want to support a movie that leads a groomer, an abuser? I understand, it's one thing that you hear accusations and whatnot, but how are people going to want to support this based on every single thing that's coming out from the news and everything? Warner Brothers, try to get the man help. That's one for. Please get Ezra Miller help. But I don't think Ezra even wants help. I think, honestly, I think they're too far gone. I hate saying that, but I think Ezra Miller is unreachable. He's on the run, literally. Reports are saying he's actually on the run from authorities. I know, ironic, right? The Flash is on the run. And Warner Brothers is not doing any service because they made a promotion supporting the Flash by one of the covers for the prequel comic they're doing. And it literally has a almost entirely naked Barry Allen stepping into his costume. Really? You're going to show people you're going to show people that cover? Really? After all the allegations regarding Ezra Miller grooming kids? That's a good question, Dave. Grant Gustin is a great actor. However, I think the reason why they're not going to do that is because they've had Ezra Miller Flash and Grant Gustin Flash meet in the CW already. And not only that, based on everything we've heard, they aren't going to use any of the Arrowverse characters because they want to establish their own. And plus, Grant Gustin hasn't really been done in films, and they're going to want to use someone like Dylan O'Brien. Like, I know I'm seeing Dylan O'Brien. I have a friend who's a huge Dylan O'Brien fan. But I think Grant Gustin would do a better job as the DCU Flash. And, he's also not as weird. And he's also not an abuser. He's not a kidnapper. He's not, a drug offender. He's not a groomer. He's not a pedophile. I think he fits the boxes. But they're not going to use that because he's the perfect one right there. But even if you don't want to use Grant Gustin, you could use any other actor but you would think that Warner Brothers would actually check through and make sure you go for background checks of all your actors before you hire them. Because now you look at the DCU, Henry Cavill's gone, Ben Affleck is gone, Ray Fisher is gone, Jared Leto's gone for the Joker, and Jesse Eisenberg is probably gone too. All you have really left is Gal Gadot as your Wonder Woman. You have Jason Momoa as your Aquaman. You have, John Cena as Peacemaker, who, despite the fact that he's a rather obscure character, he's been arguably the most fleshed out character of the entire DCEU. And who would have thought Peacemaker, a character that the vast majority of even comic book fans even know existed, is the most fleshed out character in the entire DC Comics extended universe? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense in the slightest? That a character that barely anyone knew got the most depth in an entire universe? That's crazy. Over Batman, over Superman, over even Wonder Woman, who's had 2 movies already? How is that possible? I'll tell you why it's possible. It's because Warner Brothers is incompetence and their mismanagement of handling this universe. DC's universe should be a real rival to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Warner Brothers should be continuing to rival Disney like they did back in the day in the 20s, 30s, 40s, whatnot. Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse, DC Comics, Marvel Comics, Six Flags, sort of. They don't sell it anymore. And Walt Disney Parks. But they don't. They don't. They honestly do not. And it's a damn shame. They should not be letting this happen. They really should not be. DC Comics should be rivaling Marvel for box office returns. But they've only had one movie in the entire DCU that has broke $1 billion, and that was Aquaman. Only one. Man of Steel didn't do it. Batman v Superman didn't do it. Justice League absolutely bombed. The Suicide Squad, the new one, didn't do well in theaters. Birds of Prey didn't do well. Wonder Woman 1984 also didn't do well. Like, seriously, what is Warner Brothers doing? They have been... Yeah, they are tied behind their backs. Absolutely, their hands are tied behind their backs, especially with the Flash situation. And I'm not going to blame David Zaslav for this because he's inheriting this problem from AT&T. But the fact of the matter is, he's got to do something. They fired Toby Emmerich. They're going to be firing Walter Hamada. They already ditched product like the Wonder Twins product. J.J. Abrams, he's sitting on projects like the Zatanna stuff and whatnot, and who knows what that's going to happen. They're going to probably get rid of him. What's going to happen? Seriously, I'm concerned as a DC Comics fan. What are they going to do with this? They could honestly just scrap the entire DCU if they really want to. Maybe focus on a couple things, but the DCU, as we know it, that's it. No, Zack Snyder's not coming back to finish his Snyderverse. At this point, that's not going to happen. They've moved on. David Ayer, he's still waiting for, his version of Suicide Squad to come out. Warner Brothers ain't having that. The only Patty Jenkins and James Gunn and James Wan are like the only 3 that are really hanging on for this, for their vision. And yeah, it's just like, why would you, even though I do like Snyder's stuff, like, you're bringing in Batman without really developing him, and you're bringing in the Flash and Cyborg and Aquaman before you have their movies, and you're having Superman die in the second movie that he appears in instead of having a Man of Steel 2. This was all botched from the jump. People can't even argue what's canon in the DCEU. That's how bad it's gotten. And that should not have moved. Marvel, it's clear, it's concise, whole timeline meticulously done, every single little detail, spot on, and they do an amazing job for Marvel ever since 2008. Kevin Feige is truly a genius. He is a visionary, and he's guiding this franchise to become, in my opinion, one of the greatest series ever made. DC should have that too, but they're not. They're really, really not. They're doing great with their animated stuff, and even some of their solo projects they're doing good with. I love Joker. I love the Batman. But those are their own continuities. It's not their main one. The Joker series, that's more like an art house sort of thing, more of a high award one. The Batman, was originally going to be a Ben Affleck solo movie, but they retooled that and made it in its own universe with Robert Pattinson. Really good as well. Much more grittier, much more nihilistic. But the DCEU should be their main priority. And instead, they have stuff like the Arrowverse, which, I'm sorry, who don't know what they're doing? Yeah, Hamada. Yeah, Christopher Nolan also left Warner Brothers. He had a lot of issues. He's now doing Oppenheimer with Universal. Denis Villeneuve, I mean, he's doing this stuff with Doom, but they was looking bad for a little while. I mean, I would argue Warner Brothers' best run franchise is not even technically theirs. It's Legendary's. It's the MonsterVerse with Godzilla and King Kong. And even then, like, they're like dumb popcorn movies. They're never people that are going to say they're great. They're fine, but that should not be their main priority. It's not even really theirs. It's Legendary's. Their priority should be DC Comics. But it's all over the place. And I do like that, in a sense, but they should make the DCU their main priority because their Arrowverse shows on CW have very low budgets and poor scripts. Joker and Batman are two very different. They have the stuff with Titans and whatnot that came from DC Universe and like Doom Patrol. But the DCU should be their main priority, and it's just not working out. I think it's time for a redo. And yeah, that could mean we have to recast Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot, but guess what? They could do that. I mean, I don't want them to do that, but I'm not going to feel bad for Warner Brothers because they put this stress on themselves. Because now fans can't even agree on what's canon or not. That shouldn't happen. Do you really want to see fans? Yeah, they still have Harry Potter. They're doing the Lord of the Rings show on Amazon. But who knows with Harry Potter now? Because Fantastic Beasts, the third one, didn't do well. And guess what? That one has Ezra Miller in it too. Are they going to make a fourth and a fifth? Or are they just going to do spin-offs on HBO Max? What are they going to do with that? I literally have no idea. I legit have no idea what their future is because Zaslav knows that they're going to really focus on huge projects and some small projects and stuff on HBO Max. That's what you should do. He's had success for a long time with Discovery, and they were really, for the most part, controversy-free. Now that some may have argued when they acquired Scripps Network, when they got Travel Channel and Food Network. But they've mostly been controversy-free. Bringing Warner Brothers and CNN with their messes. Whew. Going to take a long, long, long work for that. And I wish them the best of luck. I really, really do. But again, there's a large amount of stench in there. And you're going to need a lot of people just to fix it. And I don't know if they can do it. I really don't know. It is absolutely sad to me. And this could have all been avoided if they just kept their ego in check and just didn't use any hubris. Seriously. Hamada did a terrible job. Forcing out Jeff Johns also was bad. Didn't allow Grant Morrison to write anything. Unbelievable. I just don't have any words to say. I'm saying words. I have a lot of words to say. But David comments, how did you expect to produce a good movie when they fire all the right? That's a good question. That's a really good question, Dave. That's a really good question. The fact of the matter is, they are in turmoil. They've not been doing well financially. They've been losing a lot of money. In fact, the reason why AT&T even sold them off in the first place was because they were recovering from a lot of debt. So much debt that was collected when they acquired the merger, and it just did not work out. They got rid of it after only 4 years. Massive disaster. Massive disaster on AT&T's. It's arguably even worse than the AOL situation because at least AOL stayed on for another 8 years, but it's just similar to that. But Warner Bros. Is firing the right people. Who knows what's going on with Snyder now? And it's a mess. Fans don't like him, and I think it's time. I think as DC fans, we should let Warner Brothers know we're sick of it. This is why Marvel's beating you guys, Warner Brothers. This is why Disney's beating you to the punch. This is why Disney is able to dominate. It's because they don't have this constant turmoil and this constant reshuffling of people at the top. They stick with the right people and they work their magic, and that's why they're able to be successful. That's why the MCU is still going just as strong as ever 15 years in. Oh yeah, that Green Lantern show is not going to happen, and neither is that Plastic Man movie or those other movies that J.J. Abrams promised. That stuff's not going to happen. I hate being that guy, but it's not. And who knows when Batgirl is going to come out, because it was supposed to come out this year, but because it's supposed to come out after The Flash, oh my god. And the fact of the matter is they're getting rid of Batman and Superman, replacing them with Batgirl and Supergirl, and they're having them as their versions of Batman and Superman instead of actually having Batman and Superman in their main universe is ridiculous to me. And it just shows the incompetence at the top and how Discovery really needs to clean this place up, scrub it clean. You can keep Joker, keep the Batman, keep that stuff. And maybe you keep some of the stuff in the DCU, but you really need to mostly start over with the DCU. Make a consistent universe and make if people want, I mean, you can even bring back all the people from, like, you can bring back Ben Affleck, you can bring back Henry Cavill. The only one you don't need to bring back is Ezra Miller, and I think everyone is fine with that. Oh, and Amber Heard, you can get rid of her too. Get like Blake Lively or someone to do that. Unbelievable. Just sounds like a lot of wrong decisions made. Oh, I'd say so. Like, the Man of Steel came out 10 years ago, nearly, Dave. 10 years ago. And by this point, the DCU should be a rival with the MCU, but instead it's a complete dumpster fire. It's a complete dumpster fire, and the studio was sold off twice. I don't know what, I mean, Paramount has a better idea of what they're doing with, you know, Paramount Plus, what they're doing with Sonic, some of the stuff with Mission Impossible. They know what they're doing. I think they're going to work things out, and they're going to put Sonic as the face of their company. Like, Universal even, too. I'm not as sure with them, but I still have better confidence in the people at the top there at Comcast. Sony is even doing a decent job by having lower budget movies that are doing very well. And, of course, you know, Disney's still doing well. I don't know what to think about Warner Brothers. Are they going to, I mean, CNN Plus that was a complete train wreck. That was gone within less than a month. You know, they're having all these other apps that aren't doing so great. What are they going to do? Like, seriously, what are they going to do? Make more content based off of characters people want us to do. There should not only be one Superman movie in Man of Steel. There needs to be more Superman content. And do more than just Superman and Lois. Do more than that. Show us more content with stuff that we want to see. Give us a proper Flash. Give us, you know, a proper Green Lantern. Give us a proper Cyborg. Give us stuff that we want to see. And also listen to your community. What do people like me want to see? They want to see a connected universe where it's all connected as one. Everything gels together very, very well down to a T. That's what fans want to see. Especially after Marvel. DC should be rivaling Marvel. They're not doing that. DC is making a fool of itself while Marvel's running laps around them. It's pathetic. And firing Ezra Miller, but you need to find out what you're going to do with this Flash movie. In my opinion, I'd say keep it on the down low, release it quietly on HBO Max, put it right down, and be done with Ezra Miller. Sign someone else to the Flash, and try to like retool your universe. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. What do you guys think of the Ezra Miller situation? And what do you think Warner Brothers needs to do as a result? He's not going to be the Flash going forward, and that's great. But what should they do with this movie? Because it is going to be a massive loss for them. Please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe to Zenny62 Media if you want to be notified for new videos as soon as we come out. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everyone. Peace out.